Hey, good morning, everybody. The Cavs game last night was awesome, but before we get into it, I just want to remind you guys that you can get buckets just like the Cavs did with your first bet on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 if you win. Plus, be sure to check out FanDuel's Profit Boost tokens in the app and use it for the UNC Duke game. Profit Boost tokens will be available before the big game. You can view in your account page now to learn more about the boost. Just visit FanDuel.com/UCSS and shoot your shot. FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NBA.
So yesterday, Anthony texted me and said, you've been off for a while. Is there anything specifically you want to talk about? And I said, I want to chime in on the Cavs because I know from, I wasn't watching every day, but I watched some of the shows. And I know that especially Jay and G and Earl have been just killing the Cavs, deservedly so. They've been playing lousy basketball. They lost. They got blown out by the Knicks, who are not. By the way, the Knicks aren't playing that well, really, but they crushed the Cavs. And obviously, the only wins they had besides that crazy Dallas win was against really awful teams. I think in Detroit and Washington, who's lost like 80 in a row.
Yeah.
So I'm like, those guys have been killing them. I said, maybe I should come on and I don't think it's that bad. It's just a bad stretch or whatever. And then the Cavs are down 22 in the fourth quarter. I'm like, forget that. It's going to be a disaster tomorrow. But then the Dean Wade show, guys. What the hell was that?
Listen, this is the second Tuesday in a row. A Cavs player has gone 5 for 5 from 3 in the fourth quarter to lead them to some miraculous comeback. The only two players in the NBA this season to shoot 100% from deep in the fourth quarter of a game this season on a minimum of 5 attempts. Strus last Tuesday, Wade last night. It makes no sense. Being there for both of those games, you could feel the energy in the arena just kind of creep up a little bit, and then a little bit more, and then a little bit more until it was a full-on Cavalanche. And the most impressive thing about Dean Wade, and he outscored the Celtics by himself 20-17. He was perfect from the field. He was 1 for 4 in the first 3 quarters, by the way.
Yeah, 3 points.
3 points.
Yeah.
2 rebounds. He had 6 rebounds and 20 points in the fourth by himself.
Yeah.
But the most impressive part about Wade is he is always in the right spot at the right time. And we talk about the little things in basketball that don't necessarily show up on a stat sheet. And no, he can't rebound like Andre Drummond. Last night he shot like Larry Bird, but he's not a Larry Bird-esque shooter. He's a solid shooter.
Forget Larry Bird. He was Klay Thompson last night.
He was Steph Curry. I mean, Steph can't shoot 5 for 5. He can't shoot better than he did last night. But if you watch some of these plays here, and you can see the spot shot on a few of them, he's always in the right spot, and he makes the smart play. Like, this is a little roll here, and Drew Holiday couldn't help off because Sam Merrill's in the corner. I know a lot of people are like, Sam Merrill only had 6 points. Well, just by him being on the court, you have help drawn your way. Here he takes another step up to get a better passing angle from Darius Garland behind Drew Holiday. He's in the right spot at the right time. And in the fourth quarter, it was one of those magical experiences where no matter what Boston did defensively, no matter what happened on the first 21 seconds of the possession for Cleveland, Dean Wade was there to bail them out when it mattered most, including the putback dunk where he sneaks by 4 different Celtics defenders. That was the only shot they missed in the fourth quarter in the last 9 minutes, by the way. The Cavs down the stretch were 11 of 12 from the field, and that miss, which led to the Dean Wade putback, was their only miss. The Celtics, in their own right, collapsed in the fourth quarter, but give the Cavaliers all the credit in the world for taking what Boston gave them, for locking up defensively, including Darius Garland on that last play against Jason Tatum. And kudos to the refs for swallowing their whistle. And they didn't swallow it, but then coming back and making the right decision.
They got that reversal.
That's what I'm saying, but they challenged it, and then they made the right decision, which was clearly the right call. But the Cavs, when it mattered most, went to a 1-in, 4-out lineup. Dean Wade became Larry Wade, or Dean Bird, whatever you want to call him. And it was a magical 12 minutes of basketball last night.
The vanilla.
Did you think, by the way, either of you guys think that they were going to overturn that call? Even though it looked like.
I didn't think so, no.
Because I feel like they don't in those situations. I was surprised.
I thought that they've been overturning a lot of stuff lately that I'll be seeing.
They have done a pretty good job about that, by the way.
But that's good.
Still, in the last second of the game, you're always hesitant. You always have that feeling in your gut, like, this not a foul, but it's not going to go our way.
Right.
I'm going to tell you what, man, listen. Man. See, I was in the middle about, me. I already got my tweets already ready to be fired up. My joints was already scheduled for the fourth quarter. And then all of a sudden, the Vanilla Wolf himself.
The Vanilla Wolf. Oh, my God.
The Vanilla Wolf. Dean Wade comes through. Woo! He's just howling. Bro, this dude, I said, he hit one of them. I said, "Oh no, listen, he act like he knew that was going in. He shot that second one. I said, oh, listen, he might get hot like Strus did. By the time he hit the third one, it was NBA Jams. I got the NBA Jams tournament edition on the arcade coming to the house, and it was like he's on fire, Dean Wade, and then all of a sudden he comes out of nowhere with the putback dunk. I said, no, he's having the best year of his freaking life. His brothers are in the stands, the Kelce brothers.
And he's a big Chiefs fan, by the way. He's from Wichita, huge Chiefs fan. And after the game, I don't know if you guys saw him in the locker room.
His people.
Dean Wade said, I talked to Travis after the game. He said, hey, if basketball doesn't work out, we need a backup tight end. You can take my spot after. That was a pretty
Plus, man, Joey Chestnut eating 1,000 pierogies.
Yeah, that was and he started out. I don't know if they said this on the broadcast. They didn't know. No one knew that was the halftime entertainment yesterday.
That was
supposed to go against Jason Kelce. What happened?
I don't know about that, but have you ever been to a Cavs game and they play the Hungry Hippos game?
Yes.
Joey Chestnut ate every one of the Hungry Hippos. He was the green hippo. And then afterwards they go, let's talk to the winner. And it's Joey Chestnut announcing he's going to take on 3 random fans in a pierogi eating contest. It was an awesome
greatest marketing game the Cavs have ever had.
Genius.
Yeah. They just, how do you have all 3 of them? And Dean Wade comes up and shows up, hits some jumpers.
And one last thing with Wade, and then we'll let you go. Not only did he have 7 shots, made all 7, 5 threes, he had 2 assists, both to George Niang, who we've been crushing George Niang, and he deserves some credit. He had 2 killer, crucial threes in the fourth quarter along top of Dean Wade. They were 8 of 8 from 3. Okoro hit a 3, Niang 2, Wade 5. Every little play you could have asked for, he made. And coming off their worst loss of the season against New York, this was their best one of the season.
And you just said it. What's the difference? 1 in, 4 out.
We're going to get
We'll
more
talk
into
to that in a
that
sec.
and what happened with Mobley in a minute. But I wonder what we're always talking about sports books, right? We talk about the FanDuel sports book, and there's odds for everything. But I don't think there were any odds because I don't know. They would have to have been 1,000,000 to 1, 10,000,000 to 1.
Sam Merrill made the FanDuel, but Vanilla Wolf was nowhere to be found.
Well, but what would the odds have been on Dean Wade scoring 20 points in a quarter in the fourth quarter against the Celtics?
He has to
10,000,000 to 1.
20,000. He has to be, and I mean this with all due respect, Dean Wade. He has to be the worst player in NBA history to score 20 points in the fourth quarter.
You would think
of a close game, of a not blowout.
Right.
Like
you would think. I mean, I don't know. But you've talked a lot about how he does a lot of the little
the little stuff,
and that's why he gets minutes, right? He's not great at any of the obvious things, at any of the statistical things. But last night he was. But for him to be just such a non-factor in the game for 3 quarters, and then get that opportunity in the fourth quarter and take advantage of it, he said after the game the basket looked like a swimming pool.
Yeah, I believe it.
Right? I mean. It was just ridiculous. I mean, how many guys have gone 5 for 5 from 3 in a quarter period? Well, you said only 2 this year.
In the fourth quarter. Only 2.
I mean, it probably doesn't happen a lot.
And
I mean, how many times has Steph Curry done that in his career? 5 for 5 in the fourth quarter from 3.
I don't know off the top of my head, but it's
a
very rare feat, and it's the accuracy. It's one thing to make 5 threes if you take 10, 11 shots, which it's very difficult to get 11 3-point attempts, but to go 5 of 5, and also. The first 2 were when they were still down. I think the first one was when they were down 22, the second one. But the last 2, the putback dunk, the pass to Niang, like these are in the most critical moments of the game. And one thing we talked about Dean Wade last year in the postseason series against New York, that guy you see on the screen crumble. They let go of Kevin Love because this was the guy they were hopeful could step up and make the shots in the postseason. Did not deliver. Against New York on Sunday, he didn't deliver in the crunch time moments. Last night against Boston, when the lights were the brightest, when it mattered the most, number 32.
Well, it matters the most in the playoffs. But
to this point, but in last night's game, when it mattered most, the Vanilla Wolf was impeccable.
Listen.
You can't play better than he did last night.
He was even better than the Teen Wolf.
Yeah.
Vanilla Wolf, greater than the Teen Wolf.
Was a cheese ball. I mean, and what's, with Milwaukee obviously has been red hot. They won, I think, 6 in a row.
Yeah.
And so that was big because all of a sudden, if you lose that game, now you're a game and a half behind Milwaukee for the 2 seed. Now you're only, especially when you got Minnesota coming up on Friday, I think.
And then Phoenix on Monday.
So you got some tough games. Even Atlanta's not a pushover.
Atlanta just beat the Knicks by 16.
And talk about this though. You can't talk out of both sides of your mouth, right? It's very easy to do, but it's sort of a faux pas. I don't like hypocrisy, right? This was a terrible loss for the Celtics. The Celtics have been looking like they were the team to beat. If you go look and see how they emasculated the Golden State Warriors and Steve Kerr, they've been putting people out of their misery early. They blew the Knicks out in New York. Now they come into this game, they are full strength. They got Porzingis back. They're ready to go. They were dominating this game for 3 quarters.
How many have they won in a row before?
They won 11 in a row. Their average margin of victory on that 11-game win streak was nearly 23 points per game. They had 4 wins of that stretch of 30 or more points.
Right.
They had straight up blown
I get what you're saying. It is a bad loss in a vacuum, but in the grand scheme of the season, they're by far the best team in the league right now.
Yes, they are. So when I go back and I examine this, I say, okay, well, the Cavs lost to the Knicks, and the Knicks had 4 starters out. So the Celtics, who look like the best team in the league, they lose to the Cavs. Evan Mobley's not in the game. You don't have a Donovan Mitchell. No Strus. And so basically you got role players and Jared Allen and Darius Garland, and both those guys struggled last game. So it just goes to show you, I still don't like getting embarrassed. I still don't like getting blown out. But in the game of basketball, yes, there are some things that can happen that are like from night to night. You're like, whoa, how did that happen?
And teams, I don't want to say play down to competition, but it's natural human nature. Now, the Celtics should have won that game last night. If you hit 11 of 12 shots and you essentially make the one you missed because it was a putback dunk, like you should win that game every time. But the Celtics, what they did in the first 3 quarters to build that lead, they went away from the fourth quarter. And we talked about Joe Mazzulla and where you rank the NBA Eastern Conference coaches. Like, that's a big issue for the Celtics. It's not the talent, it's Mazzulla. But back to the Cavs last night. I just want to say 2 more things before we talk about Mobley. We talked on the show yesterday how after New York, Gene, you weren't here. I was like, I need to see some sort of fight. Like, I can't see you lie down against a team that is as good as Boston, as talented as Boston. And New York may have your number, but at least in the regular season, the Cavs have had Boston's number the last 2 seasons. You go back to last year in the regular season, they had the overtime win here in Cleveland. Obviously, last night, it's a team that they don't fear necessarily when you go up in the matchup. And last night was as gritty, as tough, and as frankly awe-inspiring of a performance we've seen from this team all year long. And we got on JB for saying, what the hell, how could you admit your team took its foot off the gas when Brunson went down in the first quarter? Well, if we're going to say that, we do got to give him some credit yesterday for rallying the troops and finding the right lineup at the end.
Well, having D-Wade in the game, I mean.
And it helps, and that was my second point. The lineup that they went with to kind of close the game was Wade, Allen, Niang, LeVert, and Garland. If you had told me a Curl wouldn't be in that 5, I'd be like, nah, he has to be. But last night, they found a lineup that worked.
Well, you weren't taking Wade out.
He stuck with it. No, he stuck with it. And it was incredible.
What did that ref say over there?
And by the way, for anyone real quick, because I was there last night, the Kelces were as engaged as any fan in the arena from the second they sat down. The pictures, like,
they're still from Cleveland.
That's not a faux pas. Like, they were as engaged. They chugged beers. They were signing autographs, taking pictures.
None of that is surprising.
It was so cool to see them engaging with the fans in a way that I hope they would. But to actually see it in fruition, everything you hear about them, totally checks out.
We know every